Good afternoon, folks. This is Fred Campos, owner of DFW Website Designers. It is Monday, April the 25th, 2022. This is episode number 377 of your 3 business tips at 3 o'clock in and around 3 minutes. Solopreneurs, small business owners, if you're just tuning in, we're in a week-long series discussing some of the biggest business challenges that you as a small business owner will face. Today we're going to talk about your attitude, making changes, and welcoming change. Business tip number 1. As a business owner, your attitude determines the altitude and determines the feedback of every one of your clients as well as any employee, anybody that you interact with. One of the hardest business challenges, especially when you're bootstrapping and starting out, is keeping the right attitude and having a positive attitude of basically encouraging yourself and eventually your staff to be and do the best that they possibly can be. You wouldn't think that attitude would be a challenge, but I have seen, in my opinion, some businesses go down the drain because the owner didn't have the right attitude or the right commitment level or the right mental state in order to accomplish what you need to accomplish. Starting a small business is really tough. The first couple of years, that's why so many of them fail, and your attitude determines everything. Business tip number 2 is you have got to be in a mode of pivoting, and you have got to be making changes all the time. You may have an idea of starting out, and you may have to pivot and change based on the market. You may have to pivot and change based on your supplier, based on the customer, based on feedback. Let's say you've got this all figured out and you're making a particular widget, but after you sell a few of them, you realize you need to tweak this. You've got to be in a mode of changing, and you've got to change procedures, you've got to change employees, you've got to change the way you view things, what customer feedback is. You are basically in the beginning and pretty much throughout your entire business are going to have to be in a change mode. You and your executive team have got to embrace changes very well. And that segues perfectly into business tip number 3. You got to have the mindset of welcoming change, realizing that the way you do business today is not the way you're going to do business in the future, and the success that you have today is not necessarily going to be the success in the future. Things constantly change, and the mindset I want you to have is that you're going to welcome change. You're going to go and start every day going, you know what? We're in the change business. We're going to make change in order to be better. And I think that's a little different than actually making change, but having an attitude of welcoming change. So there you go. In review again, we're talking about attitude, making change, and welcoming change. These are the things that I'm learning today. Anything I learn, I throw the fence to you because I want you guys to be awesome. Now go back to sleep.